What is up, famsy? My name is Branzy and welcome to the Build Along series. And today is a very important day because today I have come across this little village in our world here, and this village needs some help, to say the least. A completely inaccessible shopping area, terribly precarious overhangs just begging to crush any of its inhabitants. You're a brave man, sir. And overall, just no actual flow or use to pretty much anything in this village. And so many other things and surprises to come in today's episode, including adding an additional builder to the series. But we'll get to all of that later on in today's episode, because right now, this village needs our help. So sit back, relax, and let's get to work. So the first thing that I wanted to work on was the terraforming of this area. Now you can tell that this is a pretty default flat cliff, and I wanted to make it a little bit more detailed and make it seem as if it had been eroded away with wind and air over time. And here you can see that I'm just kind of making my own cliff because there wasn't much to work with on the original terrain here, and so I just kind of built it back to match the other area that we had already worked on, and then tried to blend it into the existing terrain as well. But ultimately I decided that I wanted to go the full distance on this and really put a lot of work and effort into the stonework for this build. And I loved this overhang right here. I loved that it was just so prominent. It seemed like such a centerpiece for the whole area. So I decided to not only incorporate it, but to expand on it as well and try to blend it to make it a little bit more usable later on, including adding a little portion that leads to this cave that you see me working on right here. And now you can see that I'm going around trying to kind of lay out where I want all of the water pools, because if we're going to go with the eroded look and feel, we definitely want to incorporate those things into our builds. But I didn't have enough area over here to really get much done, so I decided to clear out a little spot to make room for a little spring. So I just went through and put a whole bunch of blue wool around this area just to kind of indicate where I want some water just to kind of overflow over these cliffs and stuff. And I think it's about time, now that we have all the terraforming done and everything, to start moving some of these structures, because unfortunately they can't just stay where they are. It just doesn't work. So especially these guys, and you'll see why in just a bit. And you can see that I really struggled with trying to find the perfect position for some of these structures like the church, but ultimately I was able to find a nice layout for all of the buildings to keep the original buildings in the village, as well as even these little stands that you see here for little shopping areas as well. Now that all the structures and everything are in a little bit more of an appropriate position, I think the last part of the terraforming that we need to get done here is probably just building up this flat area right through here. And I think I'm just gonna put kind of a custom mountain to stand up a little bit and give a little bit more of a canyon feel through here, and also break up this area a little bit more from the bottom down below. Trying to make custom mountains can be pretty challenging, especially trying to make them match an area or not stand out as being too world edity, and it's something that I'm still trying to master as well. But I picked up a lot of good tips, like trying to use sand brushes and things with world edit, and then going back through and changing it all to stone, and then just kind of cover the whole thing with grass. I think that really adds a lot to it, just to kind of make it blend in with the natural area and also give it that kind of more Minecraft final touch. even have space now to put in a little waterfall. And that's what I decided to do right here, was add a little spring right at the bottom and a nice waterfall cascading down as well. But for now, we're just gonna go with the cutout. We'll save the flooding for later. I like how this thing has turned out. It's not too big, but it separates the top part of the village up here from the bottom half down here, and there's this big space we can add a waterfall to, and that's actually what we need to work on next, because we got this and then a whole bunch of other water sources to get added. So let's get right to it. I haven't really mastered trying to place water with world edit just yet. It's a work in progress. So ultimately, I decided to just use buckets to do this. It was way faster and way easier for me. We came up with some really cool little pools and things all over this place, including this double waterfall right here and this giant waterfall right here, which I'm also going to turn into a little bit more of an icy feel right at the top. Flooding is completed. It's all looking pretty snazzy now. All the waterfalls are in. I've got all little details and everything on there as well. It's looking pretty good through here. I think it's about time that we start actually putting in the real paths. And I usually do this with world edit when I'm doing this kind of a thing. So I'm gonna just place the rest of these paths. You guys who know me pretty well know that I love paths. I put paths to everything because it really connects a city and an area together, and adding things like caves and bridges and custom paths really set a tone and vibe for the area. This place is really starting to come together. We've got all the trees, the paths, the terraforming, the waterfalls, the functionality, and where we have all the buildings and stuff. It's really pretty much done. The only thing left to do is to have a before and after time lapse. But before we get to that, let's go and visit with Mr. That Chief Guy and talk about what's going to be going on with the rest of this series. I'm ready for business. What are you ready for? Are you just standing on lamps? You're an animal.
Oh, okay. I thought we were, oh, my bad.
Thank you for sitting down in the chair. I appreciate you being here in this lovely server. Do you want to explain what the server is, Chief?
Absolutely. So this server is what is considered a building series playlist. And it's a series where we're just going to go about and do everything building. And we're not going to worry about the survival aspects of Minecraft. We're actually going to be extremely focused on anything and everything building. And that's why we have chosen creative mode for this server.
But it's not just a building server for builds itself, right? It's also building our channel and our community. And if you'll exit your chair here, we can explain this beautiful board that was your idea. Absolutely fantastic idea, by the way.
Absolutely. Thank you. What you see right here is color coordinated little columns, and each of these is what we're going to call a community milestone. You're going to notice at our first column we have at 1,000 subs each, and that means both Branzy and I need to reach 1,000 subscribers. We start the build series, and that is exactly what we've done. At 10,000 subs each, we'll be introducing community involvement into the series. And that basically will mean that we are going to be inviting a few people every episode and allowing them to actually come and build with us and really marvel at all of the different builds we're all going to be creating, not only just Branzy and I, but as a community. At 20,000 subs, we are going to open up Patreon and memberships where you're going to be able to get stuff like world downloads, schematics from the builds we've created, and all of that good stuff. I'm very aware of my mouth right now. So at 50,000 subs, we are going to be entering merch, which is going to be strictly novelty socks. And that's going to be some fun branding related items that are going to be of your favorite Squid and Lavender Lad. And then 100,000 subs, we have merch, the sequel. You're probably wondering what happens at 1 million subs. Well, it's going to be a pizza party.
Lots of pizza. Like I'm not just talking like, you know, any kind of pizza. Like
we have
big
pepperoni.
Pizzas. Pepperoni, ham, sausage, some black olives. Ooh.
Time out. What are we doing about pineapple?
Okay, fine. We'll leave the pineapple off of it. Okay, all right. If that.
Thank God, or else the build series would have been off. That was.
Can we talk about pineapple at a later, like maybe when it gets closer? Like, let's talk about pineapple at 500.
Tentative pineapple. Yeah, put it in my Outlook calendar. Yeah, just pencil in a 15-minute meeting. So we've got a whole agenda basically laid out, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a lot of fun, and we're really excited to take you on this adventure. Brandy and I, we're good little buddies, and yeah, we're excited to bring you along for the ride.
Well, I mean, we're okay little buddies, right? Like, and who's little? Little buddy? Why am I little? Is it the arms? Is it that they're thin skin? Listen, all right, I'm not little. You're little, okay? Why are you backing into a corner? You scared, squid?
Squids are on average a height of 46 meters long. And those are our giant squids. When you come down to the Polynesian and Greenfield squids, they're actually an average height of 8'12" or 8'6" and average male height is 5'7" in America.
Okay, well, all right. So there you have it. A lot of fun things coming in this series. I'm really excited to see what Mr. Chief does with all of his episodes and builds and things. And of course, we're going to be consulting each other on our builds and stuff in the future as well. And shout out to Mr. Chief, excuse me, boys, because he gave me some really great tips and some advice on these builds that I've done so far already. So it's been a lot of fun. And with that, I present to you the before and after time lapse. That is going to have to do it for today's episode, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to let me know down below. You guys know what to do. And as always, tune in for the next one.